What's up? How we doing, everybody?
Gang, gang, gang.
Kyle, we only tolerate guns around here.
Oh, you're right. Bring guns back.
Bring the guns back. What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 18 of Picks Podcast. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Well, I'll tell you what's
I
not.
love being Kyle again.
Can I? Yeah, you're back to being Kyle now. Can I tell you what's not doing good? My wallet.
What?
My wallet.
Hey.
What do you mean? Why? We got another loser.
Season. Redemption for the playoffs.
We got another loser. We need winners,
still guaranteed money on the season.
We need winners.
Even if we lose the next 2 weeks.
Oh my.
But
how am I supposed to go to the Super Bowl now? That was putting that towards my Super Bowl fund. Now it's almost dry. Speaking of the opposite of losers, though, we actually have another special guest who's a winner whose team will be in the playoffs. Let's see if we can get him on here.
We've heard his facts all season long.
Introducing to the show.
From the horse's mouth.
No, he's over here. Mr. Aaron Rose. How you doing, Aaron? There we go. I love to hear it. Well, thank you for joining us. So now we got the I almost said quad box because I was thinking red zone. I guess we got the triple box. We got the triple box going on today. So let's jump into it. Let's do a little wrap up from some of the more general news. Black Monday was yesterday, but Mr. Robert Kraft didn't feel the need to wait to Monday as he fired head coach Gerard Mayo following New England's win versus Buffalo. Mr. Kraft gave the standard song and dance. Oh, this is the hardest decision of my life. You know, all that bullshit. Couldn't have been that hard considering you didn't even wait till Monday to fire him. To be honest, right, guy. I mean, is it because he played his way out of the first overall pick? I mean, only after one season. I mean, this seems a little abrupt, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's like, I just don't get it, right? Because it's like, he's the handpicked successor to Bill Belichick. And I don't know. I just it's kind of weird, right? It's just kind of weird to me.
I
Um,
think it's just really tough to follow greatness that is Bill Belichick.
yeah, no,
And
I
I
I
think
get
more
that.
so, I
I
think
get
it
that.
was more so his like I think he probably lost the locker room to be honest. And granted, the
Maybe.
Patriots were arguably one of the most like least talented teams
Yeah, yeah.
in the league,
That's a
but I
very fair
feel
point.
like that like all this like off-season drama comments he would make after games, I think that's what kind of did him in. Because I think like the fans, I know a lot of Pats fans out
Yeah,
there, they all
he's
really didn't like him, his comments
yeah.
at the podium.
He said
And
some
I think that
stuff.
combined with the record, it's just kind of like and also you have Drake May who's looking like promising very young quarterback. Everybody knows right now when the quarterback's on that rookie deal, that's your window to strike it big.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I would hate to see if they. I know the rumor right now is they're going to hire Vrabel, but
I
I
heard
think they need to
Vrabel.
hire an offensive guy.
I heard Vrabel. You know who I heard? I heard a Brian Leftwich, perhaps
Oh,
former
I did not.
former
I heard
quarterback.
Vrabel's the biggest name
I
coming
heard
out of
Vrabel is
New
the biggest
England.
name. That makes the most sense, right? He's the most, I guess, Belichick esque in the way that they operate. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. Um, you should not be muted. That would suck if you were muted the whole time. I've just been sitting here talking to nobody.
They've been talking to him, just the audience can't hear.
Well, I guess I'm not talking to nobody. No, I can hear you. You
Murph's
might be a
just
little
deaf.
low. I'm gonna put you up a little higher. See if that helps. All right, we'll put Aaron a little higher. Where were we? More coaching carousel news. Jaguars have fired Doug Peterson after his third year with as the team's coach. The Jags finished 4-13 this season. Trevor Lawrence was out for most of the year due to injury. So, like, is this justified? I feel like this one's not even justified either.
No, I think the biggest. I think it makes sense because like he had to collapse last year. This year, like he, I mean, it looked like the guys were still playing for him, but it makes sense. I think the biggest disgrace is the fact that Trent Balake still has a job. He's a blockhead
Blockhead.
because he's now been through 3 coaches, including the Urban Meyer regime, and he has not been fired yet. Apparently, like the rumor mill, from what I'm hearing, is Shad Khan just like doesn't give a shit about the football team.
Yeah, dude,
Just
did
care
you
about the
see he
money,
was on the live
and he just
stream?
like I guess Trent
I
Balake
don't know how
gives
to say
him
his
some
name
good
either.
head or something.
Bro, did you see
Must give him like good head or
he was
something.
on the
So
stream. They were doing like a stream press conference, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility that I'm gonna fire the GM if whoever I bring in as the coach gives me some good points." Meanwhile, he's literally like
while he's in
pixels
the
next to
room,
him. Yeah, literally right next to him, and he's sitting there like, like. So, I don't know. We'll see. I love Dougie P. Obviously, I have a soft spot for him. So I don't know. I didn't think it was justified. They went to the playoffs a couple of years ago. They were decimated with injuries this year. They weren't that talented. So I don't know. Maybe he lost the locker room. I'm not sure. News from this afternoon, per Adam Schefter, the Raiders had fired head coach Antonio Pierce after only one full season with the team. Several Raiders continued to voice their support for Pierce following the end of the season on Sunday. But again, ownership has decided to go in a different direction. So Las Vegas will now be looking for their fifth head coach since 2021. I don't think he deserved it. I mean, what you want him to do with that quarterback situation? Like, I don't know. I like him. The players like him. That should be enough. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, that's true. Kyle, what do you
yeah,
think?
I gotta agree with you, Aaron. There, I think Tom Brady is definitely the influence on this. I think also Pierce like I think he's more of like a rah rah guy. I think that's why he was so good as an
Yeah,
interim.
maybe a little bit. I
I
don't know if
think that he
he's.
doesn't like earlier in the season, if you remember the game against the Rams, where like he like went for the field goal when like he probably should have just went for the
Yeah,
touchdown.
there were a couple
That pretty
instances
much
of that
lost
this
them the
year.
game.
There were a couple
I
of
think he's
instances.
a really good I think he's a really good like players coach, but I think strategically and then obviously with developing quarterback because that's what they really need
Yeah.
right now. He's not really going to help
Yeah,
much.
but like the list of quarterbacks that he had to work with, it was like Aiden O'Connell, Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew, and Desmond Ritter. It's like, dude, what do you want him to do with that? Like, I don't know. I like the guy, but I mean, you're probably right. I don't know if he's that guy. So, during Sunday's loss to the Jets, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill removed himself from the game, stating, "I'm out. I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro." What was it? He eventually, or no, he evidently did not request a trade, which is what everyone thought was going on at first. However, Mike McDaniel, head coach of the Dolphins, said he had an hour-long meeting with Hill today in which he told Hill that leaving mid-game will not be tolerated. So I ask both of you guys, does Tyreek Hill move on from the Dolphins this year?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm.
Yeah. They're kind of in cap hell too, right? Because they owe Tua
Yeah,
a
they're going to
bunch of
get
money.
the Tua contact hits are about to
They owe
start next
Tua a
year.
bunch of money. Yeah, they're gonna owe a lot. I think they're over already by like 20 million or something I read. So yeah, they're definitely gonna have to make some moves. I don't see him staying there. They're probably gonna try and find a suitor. All right. Yeah. Real quick, couple injury updates. Christian Watson, Packers wide receiver, suffered a torn ACL in Sunday's loss to the Bears. Will miss the remainder of the season. That's a huge loss for the Packers as they start their playoff road in Philadelphia on Sunday. Um, well, I guess that was the only major injury news, but I think Blake Corum got hurt. There were a couple other minor injuries from Sunday. Um, Jordan Love also left in this game, but they said it was precautionary, and he'll be ready to go on Sunday.
He did hit his funny bone though,
Yeah,
and
I think
that
that's just what it.
sometimes affects your quarterback grip.
I just think that's
So
what it
we'll see
was.
what
They said he got his
happens.
feeling back, so hopefully he's all right. Aaron Rodgers threw his 500th career touchdown pass to Tyler Conklin in Sunday's win versus Miami. Rodgers became only the fifth ever quarterback to throw that many touchdowns in a career, in potentially what might be his last game in New York. Uh, do you guys think this was
In
Aaron
the NFL.
Rodgers' last game as a Jet? Uh, he wasn't bad though. Like he wasn't the issue, I don't think. I know he's not, and he's not that guy anymore. But like, I can't sit here and say he was the problem this year. I mean, look at his numbers. He actually had decent numbers this year. So I think inevitably it is his last game as a Jet. He's probably going to try and squeeze out another year or two with one more team. I don't know if he does, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm trying to think, right? Because it's like you would need a team that's like either in a bridge year and still competing, because he's not going to go to a bottom barrel team. I mean, maybe someone like the Cowboys, if they, I mean, I know they still have
No, the
Dak, but
Cowboys won't just because of the money they put into
I
Dak.
know they just put in the
I
money to
think the
Dak,
only
so
teams
it
that I
it doesn't
think
really
could
make sense.
take
But
him,
like, huh?
I think the only teams that could maybe take him is probably, I guess, maybe the Steelers.
Yeah, or
Maybe
like the Saints, or like I'm
no,
trying.
the Saints aren't.
They
Because
still
they're in
have
cap
Carr
hell.
and yeah,
I think
and
it's
Cap.
maybe just the. I could see maybe the Steelers,
The Steelers still
and
have
then
Russ.
maybe the
It's
Raiders too. Honestly,
He's not going to be on the Raiders. He won't go. He won't
I
do
mean
that.
they need a quarterback and they
They're
have
worse
cap
than the
space.
Jets though, on paper at least.
Yep.
Yeah, at least at the quarterback position. So I don't know. Maybe he'll find a spot. All right. That's enough for the news. Let's get into some of these games. We're gonna try and focus on playoff implication games. So we'll breeze through a couple of these here. So let me get my final scores up. Uh, so we'll start on Saturday. Um, we had the Browns at the Ravens, 35-10. Baltimore, they clinched the AFC North. That was a game that took place on Saturday. That's all I have to say about that game. Um, it wasn't too many
One thing I
points.
guess we'll touch real quickly, but we'll probably touch more when we get to the playoff preview. Zay Flowers did get hurt in this
Oh,
game
Zay
and is
Flowers. That was the other
questionable.
one I missed. Zay Flowers got hurt. There you go. I knew there was another injury. I think he'll be okay, but I don't think they've made that official yet. So that will be something to monitor going forward. All right, there was another game on Saturday though that was that did have a lot of playoff implications, and that was the Bengals and Steelers, 19-17 Bengals. Unfortunately, due to the Chiefs getting shut out in miserable fashion on Sunday, the Cincinnati Bengals have unfortunately been eliminated from playoff contention. No more Burrow MVP talks. No more Cincinnati playoff talks. It's Jover. It's over.
It's
Bengals won
Jover.
their last 5 games, but it wasn't enough. He's still my MVP. I love you, Joe. He's going to be the first quarterback to lead the league in passing yards and touchdowns and not win MVP. All I'm saying. Now to talk about
And Jamar got the triple crown.
dude, crazy.
And he's probably not going to win Offensive Player of the Year, which is crazy.
No, yeah, and he's not even going to win that. Well, he'll win comeback. He'll win comeback player of the year, but yeah.
Well, not Jamar.
Oh, Jamar. You're talking
Chase.
about Jamar.
Yeah, Jamar Chase
Yeah,
probably
Jamar got
won't
the
win
triple
Offensive
crown.
Player of
Yeah,
the Year.
it's crazy. Yeah, and Saquon's still going to win it probably. So nuts.
I hope so. I got money on that.
Dude, guys, what about George Pickens, man? You guys see that stat line? 6 targets, 3 drops, 1 catch, 0 yards. Wow.
Wow.
That's concerning. That's concerning if your number one receiver is putting up that stat line in that important of a game. It's crazy, man. Dude, and it's crazy to me too because it's like I feel like the Steelers are a better team when they run the ball first, right? Because like I feel like both of their drives that they scored touchdowns on, they ran the ball consistently and they used that to open up the passing game. And then like for every other drive in that game, they just went away from it for some reason. I don't know. They like I remember there was like 5:30 left in the game. It was 3rd and 1, and like the Steelers or the Bengals had just punted. They can go down and take the lead on a field goal or whatever. And on 3rd and 1 in their own territory, instead of just running the ball, they throw it like 20 yards down the field, like out of bounds. It's I'm like, what are you guys doing? I mean, now they lucked out because the ensuing punt went off a Bengals player and they picked it up and they ended up scoring. But I mean, it's still a bad play call. It's still not good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the Bengals had a strong start to the game. Touchdown, they forced a punt, then they put up a field goal, so they got 10 points right off the rip. Steelers defense settled down. They got after Burrow. They did a good job. That interception at the end of the half, the first half was tough for Burrow, but I mean, then again, they asked the guy to throw 46 more times, so like, they're putting it all on him. I get it, MVP in my eyes, but that's just my opinion. I mean, how we feel about the Steelers right now, though, like. Yeah, we pushed it up.
Push it all the way up.
All right. All the way. Yeah, I agree. I just like they don't have a particularly explosive offense, and it can be kind of tough for them to generate points, especially going up against, a behemoth like Baltimore. It's going to be tough. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going back to the point. I really wanted Bengals Bills, and that would have been an electric first round game. That would have been can't miss TV. Um, but yeah, I mean the Steelers, I don't know, like they're kind of in a lull right now, and it feels like that one year when they started 11-0 and then lost four to their last five and lost to the Browns in the playoffs. So I don't know. Hey, I mean it's worth mentioning they benched Justin Fields and then lost the division. So just saying. Kyle, you got anything on this one?
I'll have more to talk about with the Steelers when we get to the playoff preview.
All right. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to Sunday. We got some games too. We'll touch on a couple of these real quick. Let's see. Giants Eagles. Eagles 20. Giants 13. Or I should say Eagles backups 20. The normal New York Giants 13. Tanner McKee should have been the backup all along. No questions asked. Sad that Saquon didn't play, but again, nobody got hurt, so it is what it is. And I think the only other thing that was noteworthy from this game was Malik Neighbors broke the Giants single season record for most receptions in a season with 108. And I think he briefly took the rookie record back from Brock Bowers before he stole it again.
Before
He took it right back a few hours later. So the Eagles are locked in at the 2 seed. Giants obviously eliminated. Let's go to Green Bay, where the Bears. It's so fitting that Aaron is here for the 1 week the Bears actually win a football game. And it's fitting because we've had this thing where we've just been saying Jaden Daniels broke the Bears. And now you're here wearing your Jaden Daniels jersey, and the Bears are unbroken their curse somehow. I don't get it. 24-22, Chicago. Of Noah Brown catching the ball. That's pretty sick, actually. And who could blame you? And who could blame you? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was kind of a. Did you guys see the punt return? I know Kyle and I were watching the games on Sunday together, the 1 o'clock hour.
Yeah,
So
the
we
punt
saw it.
return was kind of wild. They did like that kind of like trick thing to make it seem like
Yeah.
the returner was on the
So
one side
I
of the
watched.
field, but it was actually on the other.
Yeah, I watched a video of it, and like apparently Green Bay, like they like to punt directionally left in pooch situations, and so they had a returner run to the opposite side of the. They had the returner run to the opposite side of the field, and then they lined up another jammer on Green Bay's gunner, and then they had that additional jammer peel off and act like he got beat, and then he tracked the ball down, and then the other jammer took him to the other side of the field where the returner was, and so the jammer caught the ball, ran, and then just ran, and everybody was playing inside leverage, and he was just all the way on the other side of the field. It was crazy. Um, yeah, they basically put
play.
great special teams play. I love special teams. I don't know if you guys can tell.
Third of the game.
It's a third of the game, man. It's important. Yeah. I mean, Watson getting hurt and Love coming out early definitely helped them, but they were resilient. They were winning that game at the end of the first quarter. They were winning 7-3, and they had -4 total yards. It was crazy, like the way they won. And did you guys see those prop cards they had that said finish on them? They were pulling them out after they were sacking like Malik Willis. It was nuts.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, "What the
We
heck?"
we both thought that was
You're
so
what?
strange. I
You're
was like, what the
four and
fuck is
12, and
this?
you have props.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Good for you, Bears.
Yeah, so Bears get a win. That solidified Green Bay as the 7 seed. Again, they'll be playing Philly on Sunday. Bears obviously eliminated at this point. Um, let's move on to the next one.
Those were
Carolina.
just the game that ended right at the same time. The Commanders Cowboys.
Yeah, all right, let's go to
They had
there.
the
Let's go to
bang bang right
Dallas.
next to each other.
Washington and Dallas. Cowboys almost had this one 23-19 Commanders. Marcus Mariota, the legend himself, returning, scoring a touchdown with seconds left in the game to give the Commanders the victory and the 6th overall seed in the NFC. They'll be playing Tampa Bay in the first round, in the wild card round. So Jaden Daniels did get pulled early, which was kind of strange. I saw a lot of teams doing this this week where they were either resting starters or pulling starters, even though they could have moved up or down in the seeding. Daniels finished 6 of 12 with 38 yards. So I guess Aaron, I'll defer to you, being our resident Commanders fan for the week. What was going on? Like, I mean, I know what I saw, but I want to hear it. What was going on from your perspective with the why was this game close? Oh, so he was hurting. Okay. That's what I thought at first. Okay. Do you want to just try, like, you're all the way up. You want to just try and get a little closer to your, or maybe turn your laptop audio up?
All right.
Yeah, I can breeze through a couple of the ones that we're not
Let's.
really.
Do we want to do our NFC South thing, Matt? Because I know that we had a big wager
Yeah.
on the NFC South matchups.
I don't want to talk about it, but we're gonna have to because it's
You
the
want to talk about
show.
your Saints?
No. Well, I almost wanted to talk about my Saints, even though they ended up losing 27-19 at the hands of the Buccaneers. Dude, the Saints actually had a competent offense for like most of the game. They were chewing clock. They doubled their time of possession versus what the Bucks had in the first half. They were 2 for 2 on fourth down. Like, they were doing all these good things. They held Baker to only 116 yards in the first half. A field goal, a punt, and a field goal, and that was it. They only had 6 points at the half, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not even gonna have to sweat this. And then Baker came in and did all his things and threw the ball really well, and they ran the ball really well, and then they ended up winning. So I lose.
Yeah.
Kyle wins the bet. Well,
We
actually,
also
Kyle
got
wins the bet
GOAT
courtesy
Bryce
of
Young.
courtesy of the Carolina win. Bro, real quick, I would love to be Baker Mayfield's teammate. I think I've said this before, but I would love to be his teammate. I would hate to play against him. I would hate it. Remember when he slid late? Remember we were talking about that? He like slid late and was pissed off because he got like right in the guy's face after. Like, don't slide late then. But like, if that was my teammate, I'd be like, yeah, fuck him up. Don't touch my quarterback, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
They had some questionable play calling though. Tampa did. I mean, remember the QB draw they had on like 3rd and short. That was like they had a couple of head scratchers against it. I mean, you could chalk it up to just it's a divisional game. They always play each other, tough, but like not really. Like, Saints aren't that good.
Yeah. I mean, they did play tough. I think. Well, early in the season, like it was kind of similar. It was a really like close game in the first half, and then the Bucks blew it away in the second. They didn't really blow it away here, but they
Yeah.
did have 14 unanswered in the fourth.
Yeah, so they took the game in the fourth. Dude, Jalen McMillan, blessing in disguise for Tampa. He's been unreal. He's got 6 touchdowns in his last 4 games. He's really filled the role that Chris Godwin's left this year, as that void that he's left after he got injured. We gotta talk about the bring back the guns. There were 2
Yeah.
unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, one on Foster Moreau of the Saints, and then another one on McMillan. Because they got the first down, they were like, they were giving the little guns. They both got thrown for him, bro. Bring back the guns. This is not the no fun
Bring
league
back
anymore.
the gun.
If you can do coordinated celebrations in the end zone, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to point at the first down. And it makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
It's crazy. And then of course,
it is crazy.
Saints get stopped on fourth down. Tampa Bay has like enough for 2 plays. Where do they go? They go to their boy Mike Evans, who has 995 yards on the season, and he gets 7 or 8 or whatever he got, and they get him that 1,000 yards on the last play of the game. That was sick.
Yeah, I thought that was so risky. That kind of reminds me like of when you're playing Madden and you make it so that you can't run the ball out
Yeah,
in the last last 2 minutes of the game.
it was
I don't know how
risky.
the Saints just like let him have
It
it. I would
was
have like
risky.
every obviously you know they're gonna
There
throw it
was
to Mike
only
Evans.
one player
Why don't you
that
have like
that ball was going
4
to.
guys on him
Yeah,
to maybe fumble it? Because it was a one possession game.
yeah. There was
Why would
only
you be doing that?
there was only one way. There was only one person that ball was going to. It was Mike Evans. So, all right, Aaron, how we doing on the mic? How we doing? Ooh, you sound better. All right, let me put you back to
Have you switched
semi-normal.
to
Huh.
Aaron, I know I was like texting you, but do you like see how the green line moving when you go to the settings? I mean, I mine doesn't really move that much, but it's like as long as it's just moving, I think that you can usually get picked up, especially if mine has this audio settings higher.
Yeah, I
But
should put them
where's
up.
our audience at?
I don't know. Aaron, can you talk for me just really quick? Hmm.
This is a disaster.
No, we had confirmation before. Let's see. Audio input capture.
This is Liz's fault. I blame Liz.
No, don't blame Liz. Oh, I heard you during the stream though.
Maybe turn it off and turn it on again. Yeah, honestly.
Okay, let me see if we can. Um, I wouldn't. um, desktop audio. Yeah, you should be coming through.
Not go crazy.
Yeah, because when Kyle talks, I can hear him. I can see him through our thing here. I wish I could show you guys the behind the scene of how I'm trying to fix this right now, but I I don't know how to, and I don't want to break anything. Goodness me. I can hear you.
Well, yeah, because we're using a separate system. Ah, could do that
I
maybe.
have no idea how to do that. Oh goodness.
Wait, let me see. I won't be able to hear you. How do I do that?
What the fuck? Why isn't this working? Yeah, you're not showing up in my mixer is the problem. But you were here. Why are you not still? All right, give me 1 second. All right, we're gonna cut to just Kyle and I really quick.
Mm, mm,
Kyle, you
mm.
want to give some scores in the meantime of some games that we
Yeah,
don't
let's go
really.
through all the irrelevant games. Kyle's irrelevant game corner special while we fix technical difficulties. Our next game was Texans Titans. Didn't matter. Both teams, well, Texans are in the playoffs with the 4 seed. They were locked in. They play the Titans. Damian Pierce had a 90 2-yard rushing touchdown, which was the longest touchdown of the year. That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive. Good for him. He was a hot fantasy commodity not that long ago, and now he's a backup running back. Next game that was irrelevant, Jags Colts. Colts end up winning in overtime, 26-23. What a game. Relevant. Colts, very disappointing season. They were my surprise playoff team for the NFC South. Anthony Richardson did not learn how to pass good yet, and he also is kind of a loser because he just was lame. So, yeah, that's that game. Next game, low-key kind of relevant. Bills, Patriots. Patriots don't even play Drake May because he's hurt. They play, um, I
Dude,
don't even know the
Joe
guy's name, but
Milton?
he balled
Bro, that
out,
guy,
though.
he had an insane
Joe
game.
Milton the third, what a stud. Yeah, Joe Milton the third. People are already talking about, like, trading for him to, like, be their starting guy 'cause, like, one game,
He was pretty sick,
at-will
bro. I'm not
effect.
even gonna lie.
But the Patriots win, lose the first overall pick, so was it really a win? And they beat the Mitch I love titties but because the Bills were locked in as the 2 seed, they played Josh Allen for, like, a drive, he scored, and then they pulled him or whatever. Um, Next game that was irrelevant. Chargers, Raiders, I guess it wasn't truly irrelevant. Chargers, if they won, which they did, they would get the 5 seed over the Steelers, so that was really good. Um, no, we're trying not to push him back to impress Aaron. So Chargers end up winning against the
We're
Raiders.
trying here.
Uh, Chargers, get the 5th seed, they will now go play the Texans first game of the playoffs. What? Oh, let me just finish the rest. Oh, there's 2 more relevant games. Dolphins, Jets wins 32-20. Potentially Rodgers last game. He actually played really well. Too little, too late. Aaron Rodgers and his buddy Devontae Adams walk off side by side. They're probably gone from the Jets. Maybe Rodgers is gone forever. Big sad, and he will join some QAnon podcast. Maybe on our podcast. We don't know. Niners, Cardinals. Joshua Dobbs lose to the Cardinals. Cardinals actually look good. A little too late. Too little, too late. Trey McBride starts catching touchdowns when it doesn't matter anymore. And the Niners finish 6-11, which continues like over 20 years Niners either missing the NFC Championship game or missing the playoffs, which is low-key kind of nuts. And then here we'll do our little mini game Aaron sent of a blind quarterback comparison. The first one, QB1, 4,235 passing yards, 67.5 completion percentage, 93.5 passer rating, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. QB2, 4,459 yards, 69% completion percentage, 101 passer rating, 31 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Very similar stats. QB2, I'd say slightly better, more touchdowns, less interceptions, higher passer rating, higher completion percentage, and higher yards. But who are these quarterbacks? I don't know. I do not know. I'm assuming one's Jayden Daniels. QB1 is Patrick Mahomes, who's not even a Pro Bowler this year, and then QB2 is Jayden Daniels. Wow. Is that total touchdowns or passing touchdowns? Yeah, it was I was like, I don't think 31 touchdowns. That makes Yes, Jayden Daniels is much better than Patrick Mahomes. Confirmed. Patrick Mahomes not even a Pro Bowler, Jayden
No.
Daniels is.
Shit. All right. I
Yes,
think
I
I.
am Kyle Brady who would pick Jayden Daniels over Patrick Mahomes. How are we
Oh,
doing, man, on the technical difficulties?
I see.
This is like
I
podcast number
see.
1.
I see, says the blind man. Okay, wait, what if I remove that?
Anyway, I guess to just because I'm going with my winners' rights. I always knew that the Saints were bad, even when they were 2-0 and looked like the hottest team of all time. I still believed that the Saints were terrible, and I was proven correct with the Saints finishing last in the NFC South. My boy Bryce Young, who I always believed in, do not listen to any podcast prior to his venting because I always believed in Bryce Young. And look at the Chiefs. He has less Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady combined have more Super Bowl losses than Bryce Young. So he's the greatest. 5 touchdowns and an overtime thriller, despite the Panthers' defense being terrible. Panthers gonna be really good next year. Bryce, Big Nick Young.
They could. They could.
They will. Um, yeah, Bucks beat the Saints. I guess we kind of touched on a little bit. Broncos kind of destroyed the Chiefs backups. Chiefs are the second team to join the Donut Club.
Oh my
0
God, dude.
points.
They made the donut
Crazy.
club.
Absolutely nuts. But they look terrible without Mahomes, so it really kind of shows Mahomes' impact on them with their backups. And the Broncos could do no wrong. They even had that one touchdown, their third touchdown, but like it like bounced off of the guy at the one guy caught it. It was really crazy. But the Broncos had a perfect game. Got into the playoffs, no questions asked. I mean, everyone
Yeah,
thought maybe
dude.
the pressure might get to them, but nope, they played a flawless game, and they are now in the playoffs. The first time since Peyton Manning's corpse won the Super Bowl in 2015.
Yeah, dude. People thought, but they really didn't have it. All right. Well, I think I figured out what the problem is. Your audio is not selected for some reason, but it's not letting me select it. So that is the issue I've run into. If anybody knows how to control OBS better than I do, that would be much appreciated. Uh, Hold on. Let me just try one more thing after switching to studio mode and standard mode. I just want to make sure that the sort of you guys have to.
Now you really jinxed us by saying this was going to be the best podcast.
Hey, man. Hey. I'm an optimist. What can I say? Da, 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 da. Okay, hold on. Where are my global audio settings? Okay, there we go.
And during technical,
All right, it's okay, guys. We're here. We're trying to make it work. I think we might be able to figure this out. Hold on. We might be able to figure this out. He's got it from the door. He's right here. I can see him.
I'm trying to grab it from the door. So none of my neighbors steal my delicious beat ups. Future sponsor, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Oh, I got it. I think I got it.
Oh,
Did we get it? Hold
is
on.
this a Jaden Daniels-esque play? Solving the problem at the very last minute and winning the game?
Wait a minute.
Jaden Daniels special?
Oh, okay. Wait. Hold on. All right. There's only 3 active now, which is Kyle and I and this other one. So now you're the other one, but hold on. Now, what if we do this? All right. Wait, Aaron, give me something.
Testing.
Yes! I'm a genius.
Wow.
Okay, I think we did it. Woo! That took way too goddamn long.
It worked.
Working,
Yes.
yeah!
Yeah! Let's go! Come on!
There we go.
We did it!
There we go.
How many people are watching? 3? Let's go! Woo!
Oh, shout out to the 3 people still in the chat.
Yeah!
Now,
That took way too
you
long.
guys are the real ones. The real ones.
Woo! I was stressing, guys. I don't know if you could tell. I had my tongue out. I probably looked like a mess. Holy shit! Kyle went over every football game in existence.
I went over everyone besides Rams, Seahawks, Vikings, Lions, and Commanders.
Whew. Okay.
Cowboys. If we want to finish that up, go back to where we left off.
Wait, 1 second.
Any of you switch back
Unless
to
we
your,
just want to skip it, go to
switch to your
Sunday
headphones,
night,
Aaron.
quit that,
Switch
and
to
then
your
go to the
headphones.
playoffs.
Now I don't even see your audio showing up. Oh, he froze.
What about this? Is it working now?
Yes.
Testing.
Yes. All right. Do whatever you're doing. Keep doing it. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Woo.
All right. No. Yes, you're good. You're
I got
perfect.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
We're
We're
good.
good. We're back.
Woo! We're back, baby. All right. Joe Milton, cool guy. Will Levis, peak behavior. Oh, what I wanted to say about the Carolina game, Kyle, that might have been one of the best games I watched this year. Might have been.
Actually, that was an incredible game.
That, like, objectively, that was a great game. So I'm happy. I'm happy I got to see that. Wait, Kyle, speak for me.
Hello.
Okay, you're good too. Okay. So where were we with Washington and Dallas, right? Like, so what I was gonna say, Aaron, is I feel like the Cowboys defense really held Daniels in check. They didn't really let him scramble too much, and the receivers really couldn't generate a lot of separation. I felt that was my whole big thing. Like,
I mean, Terry McLaurin, I love him to death, but when you go past Terry McLaurin, the depth chart, we have Olamide Zaccheaus, you have Jamison Crowder, I guess De'Ami Brown was back, but it was his first game back. Noah Brown's injured. We really we wide receivers were struggling in terms of the depth chart. And I think some people have really stepped up. I think Olamide Zaccheaus, I've said all season he wasn't that good, and then he really blew up. He really he's become clutch down the stretch. But they did a flea flicker where he had a free gimme touchdown in his hands that he just dropped for no reason. So
right.
That's the kind of stuff that it's okay when you're playing a meaningless game in week 18, but that's got to get cleaned up before the playoffs.
I agree. I think it's fixable. I think I don't know. It's a division game. Cowboys, and honestly, the Cowboys secondary, they've been playing pretty well. Honestly, I have to give the Cowboys credit. They've been playing well down the stretch despite all the shit Jerry Jones says on a daily basis and all the they're not playing for anything, all that. I do have to give the Cowboys credit because they have been playing pretty well. But I do think this is not a problem the Commanders fans should necessarily be concerned about. I think as long as Jaden Daniels is healthy and they're getting a couple guys back for the playoff game, I believe Lattimore, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, I believe Lattimore is going to play against Tampa, right?
I mean, nothing's confirmed. I haven't seen any reports, but I know that Lattimore and Evans, there's no love lost between the two of them. I know that they really do not like each other, and I don't see a world in which he wants us to sit that one out.
No, so I think he'll be there. I think that probably gives them their best chance to cover the passing attack of Tampa. So
specifically, Mike Evans is their. Typically they're a two-headed monster. Him and Godwin. Godwin's injured. If you look at Evans, Evans torched us. He had 2 touchdowns himself when he played. First game of the season. Benjamin St. Juste trying to guard him. I was actually going through history. So Lattimore and Evans have actually faced 15 times, and over those 15 times, Evans has only scored 3 touchdowns on him. So comparing a touchdown every 5 times versus
every time
2 in a game. It's having him lock down Evans would be huge for us.
Yeah. And I think, like I was saying, Jalen McMillan's really been a godsend for the Bucs, and he's been really able to step up and fill that role that Godwin's left. But it does give the Commanders, I wouldn't say maybe the advantage, but I would say it definitely helps your argument if you're thinking about picking Washington.
Yeah, especially I think especially for I'll go into my Commander stats, but I think when I look over at this season, I think this is the funnest season football I've ever seen. But specifically, there've been 7, I'd say, game flipping plays in the last 30 seconds of regulation or overtime. So going down the list,
Crazy.
Giants field goal to win as time expires. Bears Hail Mary touchdown as time expires. Cowboys, I still put this one in. There was a game-winning 86-yard touchdown that would have been a game winner if we had a kicker.
Yeah.
We had a kicker. Saints, as time expires, we had a game-winning 2-point conversion stop. Eagles touchdown, 6 seconds left. Falcons touchdown overtime. Cowboys touchdown. I think 2 seconds left. Like
Yeah, something like
going
that.
like you know, no matter what, there doesn't need to be a lot of time for our offense to be able to pull something together, and it's just fun to watch. It is great.
I love it, and I love that you as a fan is having such a great time because it's awesome. It's awesome when the
Yeah.
fans feel rewarded. Obviously management made the right decision with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And they got to feel like they're in a good position to, if not make a run, at least win a playoff game. So
Yeah, and and especially comparing the season to last, if you look at points per game, like everyone likes to focus on our offense. Our offense scores 9.2 points per game more this season compared to last, like 2024 compared to 2023. But the thing that people don't talk about is also we give up 8.1 points per game less than we did last season, which
yeah,
is
I mean
the
the
second
defense has
best in the
clearly been
NFL.
better. It's
Our,
clearly been
our
better.
It
defense
has
is
improved even this season in general.
Well, I
It
mean,
was really
that
shoddy in the
comes
early season, but it's getting better.
that comes with the offense being better too, for sure. That definitely, I mean, if the offense is playing better, the defense is probably going to play better as well. So little take, but I see where you're coming from. I mean, it stands. It's a valid point too. It's a valid point. The whole team is better. So
yeah.
all right,
And
Kyle, you said Seattle and Los Angeles was the last one we had before Sunday night, right?
Before Sunday night, yes. We
Okay,
did the rapid fire during the technical difficulties.
I know. And thank you for that, by the way, Kyle.
You're welcome.
We owe Kyle one. Seattle 30, Los Angeles 25. This game did not impact the Rams' status as a playoff team. However, it did move them from the 3 to the 4, and they knew that coming in. Which it's kind of weird to me. Like, why did the Rams rest their starters? Like, I don't like. It made no sense to me. Like, I would much rather play Washington than Minnesota. No offense, Aaron. I would rather play the 11 win team than the 14 win team.
12 win team.
12 win team at home. But like, I'd rather not have the chance to play Detroit because they might have had to play Detroit. They didn't know that the Lions were going to win that game. So I don't know. Kind of weird to me that Garoppolo started the whole game. Stafford didn't see any action. And they ended up losing because, I mean, hey, Geno Smith put the team on his back. He did a great job. He got hurt. He was ready to come back if they needed him, but thankfully for them, the Seahawks got a stop at the end. So I don't know. What'd you guys think of that? Them resting their starters?
Well, first off, I want to congratulate Geno Smith. He hit $6 million in incentives in one day. Not a bad day at the office right there. Yeah. But no, I think, if anything, it just shows that the Rams are afraid to play the Commanders is the main takeaway I had from that. And,
I love that. I love that mentality.
I mean, the Commanders, we'd be happy to face whoever we had to, but, I guess there are teams that are trying to stay away.
I mean, yeah, look, like I get it from their perspective. Like it's the playoffs. You're going to have to play a good team no matter what. And you don't want to sit here and like, pick and choose. But like, even if you're not trying to avoid a specific team, it's like, wouldn't you rather be the 3 seed than the 4 seed? Because what if you play the 4 seed? Then you're not home. It's like, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't make much sense to me with like, I know it's not everything on the line. And at the end of the day, it probably doesn't make that big of a difference. But I don't know. To me, it just, I don't know. Seemed weird to me.
I contradict. I was perfectly happy with the Rams, and I agree with them sitting their starters.
Why?
I think as an Eagles fan, obviously the most of the talk this week is who would you rather play. Granted, it's a different scenario because we couldn't really control it.
No.
It was either Packers or Commanders.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
for a while, I was like debating it. Who do I rather want? But then I was kind of like, you know what? If you want to win the Super Bowl, which every team that makes the playoffs, that's their end goal. That it shouldn't matter who you play. Play who you play. I think that McVay, like the 3 seed versus the 4 seed, I guess the advantage you get at the 3 seed is if the 2 seed loses, then you get to play another game at home.
Yeah, that's the point.
I mean, what are the odds the 2 seeds are going to lose? I mean, obviously,
it doesn't matter what the odds are.
But
it doesn't
I think
matter though.
The Rams in general, though, were really beat up. Stafford has been beat up almost every season he plays. Puka, every great catch he makes, I always see him like fucking crying on the sidelines. He always comes back in, I think they were a really beat up team. I think the rest for them is more valuable than the slight chance to potentially be
I mean, I
three
get it.
seed and get a home field game versus like the potential risk for injury too.
They were
Like I think
banged
like
up.
even in these games you had teams that had starters in, like the Packers, they lost Christian Watson. The Ravens potentially lost Zay Flowers.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of like
No, I get it. It's
McVay's
definitely,
experience. I think it's more important to get the rest in there than to get a slight advantage in seeding.
yeah. I mean, I get it from both perspectives. I mean, I think you should be trying to get the best seed possible. That's just my, you know, logic. But like, obviously, us as fans, we have the luxury of being, oh, who would you rather play? You want to play them? You want to play them? They don't think like that. Obviously, for good reason, right? They're just trying to win,
Yeah,
like you
you
said.
play who you play.
You play who you play, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we as fans have the luxury of sitting around and you know, picking out who you want to play. But they're obviously not thinking like that. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, you know. And they came away with no injuries, so good for them.
Yeah, and I mean Stafford is on the older side, and also
Yeah,
like
yeah, I get
knowing
it.
him, he's probably injured and playing through something. Like that's
Probably.
just kind of what he does. So
Mhm.
giving him a week off is probably not the worst
Yeah.
idea.
I think you get a better advantage doing that than the advantage you get of being the 3 seed,
You
which
could-
isn't even guaranteed because Seattle is good and Seattle's actually the first 10-win
10-win team in the
since the
this
7th seed has been added
yeah,
to not make the
to not make the
playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah, they're the first one. Crazy. Yeah, they had a good season, but couldn't pull it off in the end, unfortunately. All right, we got one more game. Obviously, the big kahuna, the big one for the 1 seed
Really
in the
wasn't
NFC, and Detroit, the Lions, 31-9, dominant win over the Vikings. The Lions have clinched the #1 overall seed in the NFC for the first time in franchise history. They also set their franchise record for most wins in a season, best record at 15-2. Dude, I mean, does Detroit not feel like the team of destiny to you guys? Because they kind of do to me. They feel it feels like it's Detroit or die. Honestly, it gives me Nick Foles vibes. I don't know, something about it.
Yeah, they're a fun team. You know, I have a step family that's Lions fans, and I can say that they're definitely excited. And you know, a lot of them, you know, Detroit's not the kind of field team that has bandwagon fans. Like the people that
No,
like Detroit
exactly.
have liked Detroit for a while. They've gone through some 0-win teams. They've gone through a lot of shit to get to where they are now. And I think that you know, you kind of go to a more deserving fan base.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you think?
As an Eagles fan who has believed the Eagles are the team of destiny, I have no comment, but the Lions do scare me.
Dude, I don't want to go to Detroit. Who and their mother wants to go to Detroit and play football right now? If you're not the Lions, like, I don't want anything. I don't want to have anything to do at Ford Field. That's why I was hoping Minnesota would win so that they wouldn't control the NFC. But here we are. So I do want to talk about. Well, I guess I'll talk about the Lions a little more first. The legacy game from Jahmyr Gibbs, 139 and 3 tutties on the ground, another 31 off 5, and another tutty through the air. 4 touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs. Crazy dominations. Yeah, he's. I mean, everyone that said that, and I heard Montgomery's going to be back for the divisional round, which is fucking nuts, crazy.
Yeah,
But he's done exactly what everyone thought he would do in that solo starter role, which is just go absolutely nuts. I mean, he's young enough where it's probably not like too much of a workload issue for him. Like if the shoe was on the other foot, if Gibbs was out, I think Montgomery would have struggled a little bit more to carry the team the last few weeks. But dude, Gibbs has expanded in that role. He's been nothing but great for them. And then they're gonna get David Montgomery back. It's like, dude, it feels like they haven't missed a beat despite every injury, despite all the problems they've had on the defense, all the injuries and stuff. They just haven't missed a beat. That's why it just feels like the next man up mentality in Detroit is just taking over. It's crazy.
Yeah.
to be honest, I think the biggest thing this Detroit game showed was their defense, because obviously the biggest concern the past few weeks has been their defense with all the injuries. I think the addition or like re-addition of Alex Anzalone, middle
Oh,
linebacker,
dude, it made such a difference.
he made such a
It made
huge
such a
difference.
difference. Yeah, you
He
saw it
came in, he's
immediately.
coming off, I believe, a broken arm.
Yeah, he
But
was out for like
came
8
back into the game.
weeks.
He was out for about a month. A
No,
little
it
more
was
than a
longer than
month.
that, wasn't it?
No, I was looking at his last he played was around Thanksgiving, and
Oh
then
wow.
he
Oh
broke
yeah,
his
he
arm
got
on
hurt in
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, against
And
the
he's
Bears.
back from that. And I know he got 7 tackles, 3 solos. He was all over the field. He was such a big impact. And I think the way they just went after Minnesota, just
Yeah,
kind of like Darnold was like under constant
dude,
pressure.
Darnold. I
It was
mean,
just
how concerning was that? I mean, 18 for 41, like, and he didn't. I mean, he didn't look good. He looked bad. He looked like seeing ghost Jets Sam Darnold a little bit.
I think
I don't
think
know.
that
I mean,
even
go ahead,
I
Aaron.
think I think the even bigger story out of that defense was a guy Amik Robertson. He's a 5'9"
Oh, yeah.
short king that apparently went to high school with Jay Jettas and put the clamps on him, and someone that really hasn't when you think of lockdown cornerback, someone that could take a true wide receiver one and put the clamps on. That's not who you would think of, but he said that he could do it. He stepped up to the plate, and I think that being able to shut that down definitely helped in that 31-9 victory.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel?
Justin Jefferson was just 3 for 54.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
This is a very
I mean, do you
typical
feel
Justin Jefferson stat line?
like, do you feel good if you're Minnesota heading into their game against the Rams? Like, I don't know how I don't know if you don't. I don't think you feel bad, but like you feel a little worse, don't you? I mean, 14-3, and you're the 5 seed. You're playing a road playoff game, like in a warm weather environment. I mean, granted they play in a dome up there now, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't feel great if I were a Vikings fan right now. I wouldn't.
I think you just the majority of the season they've played really well. You're a 14-win team. I think you can't just chalk it up to just one bad performance against arguably the best team in the NFL.
No, I don't think you
Also
can.
a team that like knows you really well divisionally. The one thing I will say, the Rams did play Minnesota earlier in the season and they did win. It was kind of the game that turned the Rams seasons around.
That was
to
that
be
Thursday
honest.
night game. Yeah.
There was talks of them trading Cooper Kupp, trading Matthew Stafford.
They were ready to blow it up.
Yeah.
But that game, if you remember right, there was a lot of fluky crap with the refs. It was just kind of an oddball game. The Vikings lost their
remember
left
that
tackle,
game.
Christian Darrisaw.
There was that safety that happened, and they didn't call it.
I think Minnesota matches up well against the Rams. Kevin O'Connell versus his master, Sean McVay. We'll see what happens. It should be a great game, but I don't think as a Minnesota fan, other than I guess just Minnesota always collapsing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You just having like that bad juju vibe.
Yeah, right.
I don't think you should be worried as a Minnesota fan unless you're into curses and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess then you probably are worried, but I don't think you need to be.
I just remembered because you brought up that game that was there was that safety. Did you guys see that when Goff grounded it in the end zone and they didn't call it? And they brought a Sterator on. They're like, dude, that's definitely a safety. And it was only 7-0 at that point. It was and the Lions, I'm pretty sure, scored a touchdown on that drive. I don't know if that's true or not. I have to go back and check, but huge turning point in the game, by the way. And they missed it. I don't know how they missed it. But all right, let's get into this playoff preview. I know Kyle's gonna give us his teaser. He's got 4 legs again.
Give it as the
games
goes,
go on,
rather than just having to say everything in the end.
We'll talk through the games, and then as you get to a leg in your teaser, then you can add it if it's from that game that we're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so guys, we got playoff fucking football. I couldn't be more happy. Feels like the season just started, and now we're in the fucking playoffs, dude. I'm excited. Yeah. All right, let's start. Saturday, 4:30, Los Angeles Chargers at the Houston Texans.
Actually, at Bikini Bottom, Matt.
It's Bikini Bottom?
The Bikini Bottom broadcast.
Oh, shit. Is it actually on Nickelodeon?
The NFL cares a lot about their international games, and this one will be in Bikini Bottom.
This will be in Bikini Atoll in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I think the game's not supposed to be on Nickelodeon. Bro, I honestly, I think this is the best matchup that Houston could have asked for. I really do. Because, like, the Texans' strength is definitely their secondary, and the Chargers rely so much on Lad McConkey. So I feel like it might be easier for Houston to take away, like, LA's only threat through the air. And, like, their pass rush is okay. It's not great. It's not terrible, but I think it's okay enough to make Herbert maybe a little uncomfortable. So honestly, if I'm Houston, I think you should be ecstatic that you're playing the Chargers. I don't know about you guys, but
I think so. I think on I think on that side of the ball, I think they should be ecstatic. But I think on the other side of the ball is where I think
yeah.
some of their
Mhm.
weaknesses might come in. I know when Kyle was being successful with the KBTs, he was talking about how much of a fraud that CJ Stroud can be against a good defense, and the Chargers
Let's
have
hope he
given
went
up
back to it.
the yeah, and they've given up the least points for of any team this season. So, it's going to have to be CJ Stroud to come in and make the difference. And he's been kind of cold recently, so I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean his last start they put up 2 points against another playoff team. So I don't know. It's tough for me to sit here and be like, oh, well, it's Houston's best matchup, therefore they should win. I
I don't think
really
it was their best matchup. I think they would match up better against the Steelers, to be honest. The Steelers are kind of reeling on
nah, dude,
offense.
that defense they're not gonna
I
do
think
anything
that'd
against
still
that
be close, but
defense.
I think the Chargers are really hot right now. Houston, granted, they won that meaningless game against the Titans, but I think that the Texans are reeling. The Chargers are hot. Harbaugh is very successful in the playoffs, and like Aaron said, the Chargers are a top tier defense, and Houston and CJ Stroud have been struggling against top tier defenses.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a valid point. It's definitely valid. Um,
I mean, there's a
yeah,
reason the Chargers are favored by 3
yeah,
as the road team.
on the road. So yeah, if I had to put money on it, I would probably put money on the Chargers. I agree with you there. I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit, but I'll say for the record, as of now, I'm probably gonna pick the Chargers in this one.
I will
Um,
also be picking the Chargers, but this game is not in the KBTs.
Yeah,
come on, man, give
uh,
me that Chargers plus 4.5. That's what I wanted to hear.
yeah.
God damn it.
I have Chargers in mine also.
Yeah. All right. So we're pretty much Chargers across the board there. Um, Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're sticking on Saturday, 8 o'clock. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. I gotta be honest with you guys. I think Baltimore levels them. I really do. I think it's gonna be 10 plus points. Baltimore wins. I don't think it's gonna look close. Steelers look like dead fish right now. Their offense is broken. There's no continuity in the play calling. Their defense is still really good, and they're playing a divisional opponent, so like those games tend to be close. But I think it's been more vulnerable than it's ever been in the past 3-4 weeks. Baltimore's well rested. They've been dominant on offense. Everybody they played, they've been imposing on defense. I think honestly, I think they take it easy. I really do.
I think so. The one thing that scares me for the Ravens, so I think the Ravens are also going to win, but the one place where I think we can get into trouble is if they end up with an early deficit. I think that the
Yeah.
Ravens are good because
Mhm.
of their run game, and we've seen what happens when they go to the playoffs and they try and abandon the run, and it's not good. So that's as long as they can stick with the
Don't
run
have
and
to
they
look
can
too far. Yeah, you don't have to look
stick
too
in
far
a
in the past to
yeah,
see it.
yeah, like stick in a position where they can stick to the run, then I think this Ravens team is going to be well set against the Steelers defense.
Yeah. I mean, apparently I'm not too far off though, because the line right now is 9.5. Ravens getting 9.5. That's a lot, man. For a playoff game, and B against a playoff game where you're playing a divisional opponent. That's a lot of points.
Well, as we say, when we get a lot of points,
It's never too many.
we love to see a lot of points. So
Okay.
this is our first leg of the KBTs. Granted, Matt said 9.5. I got 10. So I got plus 17 on the KBTs for the Steelers. As I've been saying for most of these
Wow.
Steeler Ravens matchups, which I've taken the Steelers every time. This plus 17 line has covered every single Ravens Steelers game, including, I mean, it was a push, including the blowout earlier this season a
That
couple
was
weeks ago.
34-17. You're right.
It was a 17-point game, so it was a push. And since 2016, the Ravens in the playoffs, a little dicey. They're going to be coming off of win against the Browns, where Dave Flowers was hurt. He has a knee injury. From what I'm hearing, I know Matt said he seemed like he's gonna be
I
fine.
think
From
I
what I'm
think they said
hearing,
he's fine. I'm
he's
not sure.
likely to miss this game.
Oh,
From what I've heard,
let's see.
Zay Flowers, when they played each other last time, was 5 for 100 yards. He was a big part of their passing game. I think, like Aaron said, if for some reason they go down because of a Steelers turnover, TJ Watt's also going to be more healthy in this game. If you remember, he was coming off an ankle injury
Yeah,
when they played a few weeks ago, when after they played the Steelers. George Pickens will also be playing in this game. He did not play when they played each other in week 16.
it's worth
I know
noting.
the Steelers are reeling. I know it's a little risky, but I think it's so many points. It's a divisional game at night. Ravens are not really trustworthy so far in the playoffs. They potentially, I'm leaning towards they're not going to have Zay Flowers just based on the injury being in the knee, and that I think the Ravens are probably going to be a little cautious. And I think that, like, because they think they're going to go on a run.
Mhm.
I think that the Steelers have played the Ravens close all the time. Everyone thinks the Steelers are for dead, so they're going to be playing as like a dog mentality with nothing to lose. I do think the Ravens are still going to pull it out. I think they're the better team, but these matchups are always funky, and 17 is a lot of points.
Yeah,
So I will be taking the Steelers at plus 17. The fact that the line moved was what did it for me. To get it at 17, I think that's too many
it's a lot
points.
of points. You're right. It's a lot of points.
And honestly, even though I do think the Ravens are going to win, would not shock me if we wake up on Sunday morning and all the headlines are like Lamar chokes again in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, to go back to Aaron's point too, right? You've seen what happens when they abandon the run. It's a completely valid point. And they had that game against the Chiefs last year, in my opinion, in the AFC Championship game. Had they just stuck to the run a little more, their running backs only had, what was it, like 6 carries in that game, when they averaged like at least like it was like 16 or 17 or 18 or something like that in the course of the regular season. So I know it's different now that they have Derrick Henry, right? It should be different now that they have Derrick Henry. If they give the ball to Derrick Henry plenty, they don't abandon the run, they don't try to do too much with Lamar and be fancy or whatever. I still think they have it easy. Let's hope they cover 17 though. So I'll go with the Ravens. And you're going.
I will also be taking the Ravens,
We're all
but
going
I do
Baltimore in
think
this
the
one.
Steelers recover, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do win. But I will be taking the Ravens
Fair enough.
to win.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Let's move on to Sunday. 1 o'clock. We got 3 games. The Denver Broncos, the 7 seed at the 2 seed Buffalo Bills. John left a comment. My brother left a comment in the chat a little bit ago. He said, I'll take the Broncos in the AFC to win the AFC and the Vikings to win the NFC. Vikings
John,
win their first Super Bowl.
You're incorrect.
I told him
That's
I want what you're
factually
smoking and I want it
incorrect.
now. That'd be
I would like what he's drinking, smoking. I want all the drugs that
I
are in
want
his
all the
system.
drugs. Yeah, kind of wild. This would be all again. This would be awesome if it was Cincinnati. Fortunately, it's not. But to John's point, I do think Bo Nix and Sean Payton find a way to keep this one close. I think the Bills secondary is clearly their weakest points. The Broncos have had a bit of a renaissance recently with their passing game, and especially with Marvin Mims. These past few weeks, he's been making some outstanding plays. He's been getting open. I think they really have found something with him. They're finally able to use that speed, his north to south speed. He's a great punt returner. The thing is Buffalo is just such a tough place to play in. I think I'm like almost obligated to pick the Bills in this game. I do expect this one to be closer. I'll say something along the lines of 24 to 20 Buffalo, or 28-24, something in that ballpark. I'll take the Bills, but I love how Denver's been playing recently. I think they keep it close. So
yeah, I think Denver's actually a pretty solid team. I mean, what they did against the Bengals, granted the Bengals defense knows how to make teams look good. But
yeah.
Kyle knows I've had one signature bet that I've really relied on throughout the course of the season. It's the Bo Nix hater parlay. Have I hit it yet? No. Has it even been close yet this season? No. Will I quit it? Absolutely not. I think that.
Oh, Aaron,
what's your beef with Bo?
You might like the Bo Nix.
What's your beef with Bo, Aaron?
So at this point in time, I know Jaden Daniels is just the best quarterback of this draft class.
I agree.
But before I was confident in it, earlier in the season, I thought the only way for me to get Jane Daniels at number 1 was for me to make sure that Bo Nix could fall as much as possible.
Okay, I see. I see. I mean,
Yeah.
he was there. He was there. He wasn't even the first guy off the board, so it's like y'all
Yeah.
lucked out. Not to shit on Caleb Williams, but I do think obviously the record shows that Daniels is the better quarterback thus far. So
I'd agree.
yeah, I mean, John's got another point here too. I mean, Nix, he's played in big games at Oregon. Saying Buffalo won't scare him. The NFL is a different monster, obviously. I mean, those college parks are louder, and he's looked like nothing but a professional. Every week I feel like he's gotten better. The decision making, the throws, it's all there. So I think Denver does have what it takes to pull off the upset. It's just Buffalo, man.
It's Buffalo.
You
I've been to
don't
that
really
stadium.
go into Buffalo and win. You don't really do it.
I've been to that stadium. That stadium's cold. That stadium is rocking, and also
I want to go to a
Denver
game there so bad. You have no
So
idea.
much fun.
Yeah, I want to go. Really
It's
bad.
close. It's like relatively close to us too.
Do they play? Don't they play the Bills next year? The Eagles?
Yeah, they do, and it's in Buffalo. Oh,
It's in Buffalo.
it's in Buffalo.
Ooh.
I'm
Podcast
pretty
to
sure.
Buffalo?
Pretty sure it's in Buffalo.
Yeah, but Buffalo this weekend is also going to be below freezing. It's going to be a cold one, and the Broncos are the only team that, for 2 seasons in a row, do not have a rusher with over 100 rushing
and
yards
that's the
in a
thing
game.
too. I mean, you could talk about Bo Nix and be like, oh, he's this, he's that, he's perfect, whatever.
He doesn't have the help.
He doesn't really have the help on the ground game. They've got a nice committee. They've got,
and that's arguably the Bills' greatest weakness right now is the run game.
Yeah, and I just don't think they have the weapons to exploit it like they want to. I mean, I'll tell you guys about Audric Estime. I don't know if you know him. He's the rookie from Notre Dame. I think he's going to be if they give him a chance to be the starter next year, I don't know if he'll win that job. If they give him a chance, I really do think he could be a solid starter in this league. I just don't think he's had the reps. I don't think he's had the consistency in the backfield to do it, on such a short week. He's got, they spread the ball out too much, really. So I am going to take Buffalo. I do think it'll be close. I think you'll see that just the Bills playing in their own stadium in that cold weather. They love it. They know how to play well there. I'm going to go with Buffalo, but I do think it'll be close. But obviously, Kyle, you have some different opinions.
I actually agree with you, Matt. I think Buffalo is going to win, and I think it's going to be close. And because of that, I will be taking this as the second game of the KBT.
I don't know which way you're going yet, though.
Give me Buffalo -1.5.
Buffalo -1.5.
I think Buffalo wins. Sean McDermott. This is good for the Bo Nix hater parlay. Sean McDermott is 9-4 in the regular season against rookie quarterbacks, forcing 17 interceptions and only 7 touchdowns. In the playoffs, Sean McDermott is a spotless 2-0, holding rookies to 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in those games.
Now, do you know who the other 2 rookies were? I'm asking. I don't know.
It was Skylar Thompson and Mac Jones.
Okay, all right. Well, dude.
In the regular season, it was, I think, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, come on, though. That's
a couple other guys. I mean, Wins was also this past week, which was like their backups.
Right. So
in reality, they're more like 9-3 in the regular season. Also, the other reason why I think Denver's defense, as good as it's been, they've kind of been not that good against more of the elite QBs, which Josh Allen obviously is. They lost to the Bengals. They lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They lost to Herbert and the Chargers twice. They lost to Mahomes, obviously. They got smacked by the Ravens, which Lamar played. I mean, Lamar and Josh Allen arguably play very similar play styles. Obviously, Lamar is the better runner, but Josh Allen is also a very solid runner. And then also like Geno Smith, they beat them as well. Another like more mobile-esque quarterback. Honestly, the only real quarterback win they had that was impressive was that win against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
But that was way earlier in the season.
That was like week 2, I think, or something.
So I think the Broncos, I think they are going to keep it close, but I think with the fact that it's a rookie quarterback in a hostile environment, the Bills' greatest defense of weakness is arguably the run game more so than the secondary. I think that the Broncos' run game is not really up to stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it still will be close. That's why I'm buying the points
to
make it only -1.5. But I think the Bills win this game fairly easily.
All right. We'll lock it in. Let's move on to Sunday afternoon, 4:30. The 7-seed Green Bay Packers going to Philly to play the 2-seed Eagles. Tough draw for Philly in the first round, but then again, it's the playoffs. Everybody's a tough draw. I don't know why Hurts hasn't been cleared yet. I think the NFL is trying to make this game as close as possible by limiting Hurts' ability
That's
to
just
practice.
because you don't understand the concussion
I
protocol,
don't give a
Matt.
shit. They're limiting him. He gave the thumbs
literally
up 3
cannot
weeks
clear
ago.
the protocol until he
He's
practices.
healthy. I don't give a fuck.
Literally,
Get him in there.
that's the way the protocol works, Matt.
Fuck the protocol.
He cannot clear the protocol. If he practices tomorrow, which is the first practice the Eagles will have, then he would have been able to play. The reason why they were able to keep him in the protocol is because, if you remember, on the last injury report, they held him out for concussion / his finger because he broke his finger.
Yeah, his finger.
So because of that, they could hold him out of practice. Because technically, if he had practice, he would have cleared protocol because he's probably on that last step.
Yeah.
Also, the Eagles just released Ian Book, who's was their fourth quarterback. So I think all signs point to him playing. All the Eagles beat reporters aren't worried about it at all.
I'm not worried.
Obviously, the main
we'll
thing
get the
is
news
tomorrow.
I'm not worried.
But I'm not worried about it. I think he's going to play. I think Sirianni's been very iffy with these injuries.
Yeah.
Are you worried that he's out of rhythm?
Or whatever.
Yeah, kind of. He's out of rhythm. Like he's, there's gonna be 21 people on the field that have practiced every day that have in sync that have been running reps, and he hasn't been able to work out. He's been sitting on the couch. It's not like he can really do much, and it's going to be in a time when everyone on the field is at peak shape, and he's been on the couch for a month.
Yeah, Kellen Moore says he's been talking with Hurts. I believe him. All right, they're going over the game plan. They're doing their prep. I fully believe that. I wanted the starters to play on Sunday. I wanted everybody to play for a drive or two. Keep the rust off. Do what you needed to do. Obviously, I wanted Saquon to go after the record. It didn't happen. But Hurts wasn't cleared, right? Which was like a big what the fuck to me. Because I didn't expect him to play against Dallas. He didn't. But then I expected him to be at least active for the Giants game, and he wasn't. So I wanted everybody to just get out there for a series or two, go through your normal reps, whatever, and then take the rest of the day off. I think he'll be ready. You might see a bit of a slow start. They might lean on Saquon a little bit more to start the game, than they want to. I think he'll be ready. I think we're gonna get the news tomorrow. I really do that he'll be clear. So
we will get the news.
I think the Eagles win this game. That's all I'll say. I think they're the better team. They're at home. It's tough to go into Philadelphia and win, and it's especially tough when you have two members of the Picks podcast who are going to be in the lower bowl screaming their fucking head off. That's right. Kyle and I are going to be at the game. So you guys will get to see firsthand what an Eagles playoff game looks like in the 100 section. I can't wait. I'm ecstatic. I need to get my phone fixed before that because it keeps restarting on me. So hopefully, if it's not me, it'll be Kyle showcasing some videos from that game. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be there and we'll be loud. Trust me. I think the Eagles win. I think they win. I think it'll probably be a close game throughout. I don't see either team blowing each other out. So yeah, that's my take.
Kyle, I got a question for you.
All right, what's your question?
Going into the final week of the season, if there was a wide receiver that had over 600 snaps and less than 25 targets, there's only one wide receiver like that in the entire NFL.
I know who it is. Is it Jahan Dotson?
Do you think they're worth a third-round draft pick?
Yeah, it's Jahan Dotson.
I think that
Good for thought.
Jahan Dotson. I think the fact that he's
young.
Man,
he looked great against
the
Giants.
fact that they have him again for another. They have him again for another year. And I think that he did look really good against the Giants as the number one option.
That's the number one option. He had 11 targets and still cannot run the Jahan Dotson touchdown play.
Maybe we'll see the Jahan Dotson play.
Maybe.
I'm not going to bet it, but maybe we will.
That'd be something.
But I think the Jahan Dotson trade, I think in retrospect, I think it's also helped because you got to think that the DBs have to respect them somewhat. I mean, we'll see. But I won't judge it yet until after next season. But I think that it wasn't horrible. Does it look good now? No. Do I think it's a win now? Probably not. But I think the fact that they got him for like another year, he's cheap, and I think he's a pretty decent wide receiver 3 compared to most wide receiver 3s in the league.
That's
I
fair.
think that you can't. I don't think you can really complain, but can't really be happy about it either.
So Kyle, you're picking the
Also,
Packers, right?
this is obviously this is in the KBTs. The
All right.
Eagles are
What we got?
the Eagles' legs are undefeated in the KBTs since the KBTs has been originated. The KBTs itself is undefeated when a member of the Picks podcast is at one of the games involved in the T's.
Mm,
The perfect 3-0.
mm.
So hopefully we'll make it 4-0. So yeah, the Eagles. I don't even care. I know the line moved. I think I got it at 4.5. So I got
I
it
think
at
it's
plus
5
two and
now,
a
five
half.
and a
But
half. But
Birds are winning. Hammer the money line. Go Birds.
Birds money line. That's what we're
Packers,
doing.
honestly, also I will say Packers are they're 1-5 against playoff team with their one win coming against the Puka-less and Cooper Cup-less Rams back when the Rams were ass at the beginning of the
It's
season.
food for thought.
They also only have like one other win against a team with a winning record, which was like Seattle, where they lost Dino Smith in
Yeah.
the middle of the game.
It's food for
Packers
thought
are
for
also
sure.
1-5 in division. And honestly, like Eagles also beat them earlier in the season, back when like their defense wasn't even at the level it is now, and also on a neutral field where the field was dog shit, just like Super Bowl 57 or whatever the hell the Super Bowl is that I
57.
like to forget.
Aaron, who are we going with?
Packers.
Why?
Because
Explain.
well, a couple things. One, I'm getting ready for my Commanders home field NFC East champion or NFC championship game, which
Wait a little longer.
which requires the Packers win. But I think that if you have a quarterback that hasn't gotten a rep in, hasn't been throwing footballs in a month, regardless of how much you do, like he hasn't been hitting the weights for a month, he probably won't be able to touch push as well. His brain isn't there. Like there's only so much you can do to replicate in game snaps, and I think that Jordan Love is going to have. He's in midseason form. I think he's gonna be ready to go regardless of what's going on with his elbow.
He didn't even play the whole game. How could you say he's in midseason form?
Well, he didn't play because of precautionary. Like Jane Daniels didn't play the whole game, but he's been playing every week for he's been playing every week for the past few months.
We held Hurts out because we were playing the Cowboys and Giants. That's pretty precautionary.
Yeah, but rest versus rest. I think that's too much rest, especially rest for with a concussion.
You're entitled to your opinion. I respectfully disagree. But all right,
Eagles
Aaron, for the record, is taking the Packers.
I don't know if they're the only team, but they will have all, if Hurts clears protocol, which
they'll have everybody.
Will be shocked if he's not. They will have all 22 starters.
They'll have everybody
for the start of the playoffs.
Yeah,
which is probably one of the only teams in the playoffs. I can say
lovely. All right, we got two more. Sunday night, 8:15. We've got the I have to do this in my head. The seeds. The 6th seed, Washington Commanders versus the 3 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, 6th seed versus the 3 seed, Washington versus Tampa Bay, Sunday at 8:15. This game, to me, it could go a million different ways. It really could. Tampa Bay is such a weird team. They've been such a weird team this whole year, where they pick the weirdest times to be a god tier team, unbelievable. They can beat anybody, and then they play down to the bottom of the league where they're scraping wins up against the whoever they're playing. They're scraping a win out against the Saints in a must-win game. It's crazy. I think Washington can definitely score with Tampa Bay. That's not an issue for me. I think my instinct says shootout. I like Tampa's defense better than Washington's. I think they've just been more consistent. They've been a little bit more healthy too. So I'm probably picking the Bucks. I would not be shocked at all though if Washington were to win. I think this game right here is probably the toughest game for me to decide. So I haven't really had a concrete answer on this. I'm probably going to go back and forth on it a lot this week, but I think for now I'll probably say Tampa. I know, Aaron, tell me why I'm wrong.
I can think of a few different reasons.
I know you can.
But to go first off, I'm going to say that our offense has come to the table game in and game out. You have scored at the minimum 18 or more points every single game this season, which is the most of any team in the entire NFL. So I think that we don't have off weeks as an offense, which I'm not used to as a fan, but I've really grown to appreciate. But one other thing I really want to bring to your attention is the Buccaneers. They've played a lot of cupcakes these past few weeks. Like down the stretch of their season, they really didn't have good competition, and I think that we're going to be the best competition that they've really faced in a while. So going through the last the end of their season was the Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Panthers again, and then the Saints.
Yeah.
Like other than
Like,
Chargers, which
they
yes,
got the
that's legit.
yeah,
Like
they got the best version of the Panthers, but like the only team that I heard there was good was the Chargers. So
yeah, but they've played a lot of bad teams.
Dare you
and so-
disrespect Bryce Young?
yeah, but
I said they got the
they've
best
played a lot of-
version of him.
$200
Relax.
straight from your wallet.
They-
Mine.
Yeah, but they've played a lot of bad teams and had to win close. And they have not faced an offense as explosive as what the Commanders have been in a while. And I think that yes, I probably would like their defense better than ours, but I like our offense better than theirs. And I think that their defense is I think there's a chance that we might be able to catch them flat-footed just because it's been a while since they've gone up against competition like that.
You make good points. Like, I don't disagree with really anything you said, and the line says that too. The Bucs are a 3-point favorite. Usually the rule of thumb is you get 3 points if you're at home. So what they're telling you is that this is an evenly matched game. I see it the same way. Like I said, I feel like this could go a million different ways. Kyle, how do you see it?
I agree with Aaron. I actually have the Commanders winning this game.
There you go. Yeah. See, I'm not offended by that at all.
The Buccaneers kind of played a cupcake schedule towards the end of the year. One other thing I will say, this is the final leg of the KBTs. Commanders +10. Commanders have covered this line every single game of the season except for, unfortunately, week 1 against the Buccaneers. Granted, that was week 1, Jaden Daniels' first start. Buccaneers were fully healthy with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Saints Commanders did not have Marcus Lattimore. I'm hoping he plays this game.
Yeah.
With that,
Mhm.
I think also just the Commanders in general, they're coming in like way hotter, different vibes. Like they're kind of playing with house money. You could argue the Bucks are too, but I think that the Bucks, their performance in these last couple games, with like the performance against the Cowboys, I thought they were ugly, and the Cowboys aren't even nearly as good of a team as the Commanders. Yeah, I know they played them close, but I just don't think so. The game against the Saints, I was shocked. I thought they should have destroyed the Saints as a resident Saints hater. The fact that that was even close was Spencer Rattler, who's not even close to Jaden Daniels' level. And then also, I guess their game against the Raiders kind of was close for a while.
Yeah.
Really, their only impressive win since like their bye week is probably the win against the Chargers.
Yeah.
But the Chargers offense, again, is Herbert's still really good. You could argue he's in the same league as Daniels, but his weapons are not Terry McLaurin, and his legs aren't even the same as Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean,
Commanders have also like looked better on defense recently, and just that last drive alone that the Saints had at the end of the half, where they just like were able to just like throw it right down the field. I can just see Jaden Daniels doing that same thing,
like dink
on
and
like
dunk.
a game-winning drive, just doing little dink and dunks and scrambling and stuff.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay defense is really injured. I think the Commanders win this game, and if they lose, they're going to cover 10 points.
I would tend to agree with you. Although, I mean, I could see Washington winning by 10. I could see Tampa winning by 10. Like, I could see a million different things, honestly. These teams are just, this is such an even match, in my opinion. I'll say for the record now, Tampa. You guys are gonna go with Washington. That's fine. I might end up joining you. Honestly, I might. I have to do a little bit more research on this one because I'm still a little undecided.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be electric. I think if you look back 2 weeks ago, Sunday Night Football, that Commanders Falcons game actually was the most watched Sunday Night Football game since 2018-2019 season. And I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's really cool to be on a team that gets a national draw, but I think it's gonna come down to the end. I could see, I want the ball in Jane Daniels' hands, 2 minutes left, see what happens. And especially
you feel
in
good.
driving.
Oh my! I feel like I'd feel good if if I had either quarterback, I would feel good if I was the last one to have the ball.
And,
honestly, I
and
think that's honestly what this game might come down to. Whoever has the ball last.
And last stat I'll put with it is, if game on the line, we think of drive on the line, 4th down completion percentage. We've hit 20 for 23 this season on 4th down, 87%. which is the best fourth down conversion rate of any team in the NFL in the past 5 years.
Yeah,
Even better than Eagles tush pushes, because
it's
they
crazy.
had
They've been
non-tush push.
extremely efficient. Yeah, they've been
I
extremely
mean, it's
efficient.
because you can run the ball, you can Jane Daniels scramble, you can Jane Daniels pass, and it's tough to guard all three of those.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, we got one more game to talk through. Monday night, 8:20. We've got the 5 seed Minnesota Vikings traveling out to Inglewood, take on the 4 seed Los Angeles Rams Monday at 8:20. Give me the fucking Rams, dude. Give me the fucking Rams. This Minnesota choking, it's got it written all over it, I feel like. I don't know. I've seen it a million times before. The Rams run game, they have the run game to control the time of possession. Just like Detroit did on Sunday night against them. They have a smart quarterback who doesn't play hero ball. He's a veteran. He's won before. And they have one of, if not the best play caller in the league in Sean McVay. He's craftier and smarter than Kevin O'Connell. The ace in the hole for Minnesota, I think, is 1,000% Brian Flores. He's given them a chance to win every game this year, solely because of his ability to adapt on the fly. He's way better than most defensive coordinators. He's been great. He's been, he's with Jonathan Grenard and everything they've been doing with the pass rush and the blitzes. He's been really good on that. Obviously on offense, Justin Jefferson is the X factor for the Vikings. Talent, big playability. I don't know, man. I like the Rams. Why not? I'm Minnesota's getting 1.5 right now, but I think I'm just gonna take the Rams straight up.
So
Kyle, what do you think, Kai?
Yeah, Kyle, what do you think?
I kind of disagree. I think the Rams, from watching them play lately, they feel a little bit like fool's gold almost. Like they had that really ugly game against the Niners where they won 12-6. They
Pouring
had
rain.
that ugly game against the Jets.
That was
They
ugly.
had the ugly game against the Cardinals. Granted, it was their backups against Seattle. They only beat the Saints by 7. Granted, the one big game was against the Bills, but
Yeah.
that was still a while ago. They're
Yeah.
beat up. There's a reason why they rested their starters. And I think Minnesota is going to come back with a vengeance coming after this embarrassing loss against the Lions. I think that Minnesota is still a really good team. I honestly debated taking them in the tees. I still think the game's going to be close. Would not shock me if the Rams win, but I think Minnesota overall is just a better, more talented team. I think the Rams, there was a reason why they weren't looking good at the beginning of the year. Granted, it was a lot of injuries, but I think that they kind of almost not, I want to say lucked in, because they definitely earned it. But I think that they're not necessarily a team I see going far. Wouldn't be shocked if they beat Minnesota. No, I don't see them going any further than that. But I think Minnesota is going to win this game.
Aaron,
Rams is not
you gonna
really a
validate me,
hostile
Aaron, or no?
environment to play either.
I'm sorry, Matt, but I would have to lean the Vikings. I have a couple different reasons. One, I think that I think the Vikings have a better defense. I don't think anyone can really debate that. I think the Rams, they have more experience. They have the Super Bowl experience. They have the playoff experience. They have McVay. They have Stafford. But at the end of the day, I think that one, I think Kevin O'Connell is a great head coach. I think it's going to be his time to shine. But even more than that, I think that there is a Sam Darnold that legitimately his contract, his trajectory in the NFL could have a 50 million plus a difference in trajectory based off of this game and how he does in these playoffs. Because if he chokes, if he turns into a pumpkin this game, they're going to go back to JJ McCarthy. They're going to restart. They're going to see what that's like. If he balls out, if he has a great postseason, they're going to pay him. I don't know what they're going to give him a contract if he performs in this postseason, or someone's going to give him a contract if he can perform in this postseason. And I think that he knows what the stakes are for him personally, and I think I'm ready to see Sam Darnold show up.
Yeah, we talked about this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but there are major ramifications for Sam Darnold this playoffs. Huge.
Yes.
You said at least 50 million. It could be per year on a per year basis. Yeah, it could be 50 million in that ballpark. Because even if they win one playoff game, hey, Sam Darnold won a playoff game. That's a quarterback I want to play for my team. Even I think it even puts Minnesota in a difficult position, even if they win once. I obviously
Denny,
think that the deeper they go, right, that's a question that's going to loom larger on them in the offseason. Um, but yeah, no, for Sam Darnold individually, this is the most important game of his career, and it's not
but,
even close.
but yeah, Danny Dimes got 160 over 4 years for one playoff win, and he never looked half as good as what Sam
No,
Darnold's done this season.
no, and yeah,
So
Yep.
yeah,
100%
I
agree
mean
on that.
between that and NFL quarterback contracts have been through the roof recently. Like this is going to be such a big postseason for him.
yeah, it's I'm in a tough spot. I don't know. I just have a feeling the Rams. I don't like. There's always one upset in the wild card round. There's always one or two. I called the Giants a couple years ago beating Minnesota. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know, man. I just watched this like 9 hour long documentary on the Vikings and how they choke consistently and they never want to rebuild. And I don't know. That probably got me in my feelings a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thing that's holding me back from saying it like confidently is probably that the Rams have hit their peak already. I know they've been winning a lot. They, like Kyle said earlier in the show, they were ready to like sell the team. They were looking for traders for suitors for Cooper Kupp. They were talking about all this shit, and then they started winning. They beat Minnesota. That got the whole thing jump started. It kind of feels like they hit that peak maybe a little early in the season, and now maybe they're on that little bit of a downward trajectory. I don't. I love the experience for this team. I like what they can do. Like just the way that Detroit played against them, I feel like that's the game plan that McVay is gonna implement. Get after Sam Darnold, hold on to the ball, run first, play action. It's a lot of what they do is similar to what Detroit does. Now, obviously, Detroit has the better offense, right? That's why they're the one seed. They're 15-2. But I don't know. They do a lot of things similarly, and I feel like that's the recipe that you need to beat Minnesota is take the ball out of their hand, don't let their playmakers get to them, and make Sam Darnold uncomfortable. I think you have a pretty good shot to win the game. So I'll go with the Rams. I'll stick with that for now. You guys are both gonna go with Minnesota.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll be going with Minnesota.
So I know Kyle and I had touched on our playoff previews. Now we'll probably get into a little bit more in depth as the playoffs go on. But just in case we don't hear from Aaron in person again for the season, Aaron, you got some little farther down the line. You got a road to New Orleans. Who's your team?
Yes,
We want to know.
absolutely. I think well, okay, I'll start with the NFC. I think the NFC, any team has to go to Detroit in order to win, and I don't see a team going into Detroit and taking over that house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put the Lions in the Super Bowl, and I think that if
you say Kansas City, you're not invited back.
If the Ravens can stick to the run game, if they can remember that they can run with both Lamar and with Derrick Henry, I don't see a way that you can stop both of them.
Good answer.
And then I was thinking, okay, Ravens, Lions. I was looking at recent history. Ravens have actually had the Lions number recently, and I don't know what it is about their matchup, but they've won 4 of the past 5, but specifically 3 of the past 5 Ravens Lions games have been 24 plus point blowouts, and I don't think it'll be like that, but I'm going to call it right now: Ravens over the Lions in a double-digit victory in the Super Bowl.
Wow. So a blowout in the Super Bowl.
Lock it in.
So
Ravens
over
game,
Lions.
but Ravens are going to bring the heat.
I like that. I could see Baltimore making a deep run. I know that they have that, they're saddled to that Lamar, he can't get it done in the playoffs sort of situation, but I don't know. I like the Ravens. I like their chances. I think this is probably the most vulnerable Kansas City team that we've had in the last 5 years too. So it's going to be a tough road no matter what for any of the teams, but I think that's a pretty good prediction. I like it. So
yeah,
I'm just getting the odds here for the tees. Kyle, if you want to run through it one more time, just for the people.
Hey, I'll run through it real quick. It's let's see if I can do it off of memory. I think I can.
I have it written down if you can't.
It's Steelers plus 17.
Yep.
What is it? Steelers plus 17. Bills minus 1.5.
Yep.
Eagles, I think it ends up being plus 1.5 or plus 2.5.
You said money line, I thought.
Well, like with 7 points, it ends up being like plus 2.5.
Okay,
I
so
just said money line because like I'm a degenerate and the Eagles are
let's
gonna
do
win.
money
no matter
line then. Make it a little healthier.
what. I guess make it a little better. I mean, that
Make it
defeats the whole
healthier.
purpose of calling it a tease. But like you can do whatever you want. It's a free country. Anyway, then the next was Commanders +10.
Yeah. So I got plus 190 on those odds. Here we are written down for y'all. KBT's wild card edition. So take a screenshot of that.
I was gonna ask you do you want to change your Super Bowl pick because your Super Bowl pick includes a team that's not in the playoffs and a
The
team that is
Bengals.
currently the 7th seed.
The
You'll
Bengals.
be Bengals over the Packers.
I
will be
like
keeping
Joe
my
Burrow.
Super Bowl pick from
I
the
like Joe
preseason,
Burrow
which was
to
Eagles
hoist
over
the.
Chiefs.
I like that Joe Burrow to hoist the Lombardi Trophy from the ninth hole. Before he goes to the back nine. Give me the Bengals all day, every day. I said Packers, man. And now I don't want the Packers to win because I'm at a crossroads, right? It's either I look like a hypocrite or I want my favorite team to lose. I will not allow myself to root for the Packers, therefore I will be changing my pick. Dude, I don't know. I have to agree with Aaron, dude. How do the Lions not? They just feel like the team of destiny this year. I just it's gonna be tough because I feel like the NFC is more wide open. Yet I'm so dead set on picking Detroit to get to the Super Bowl. I just don't see who's going in there and beating them. Maybe the Eagles, but like, dude, it's just that's such a tough environment. Like you talk about the link, man.
Not maybe, definitely.
I don't know, dude. I'll say
ignored.
Dude, Detroit and Baltimore. I mean, that sounds right. I don't know. I mean, maybe not Baltimore. Maybe someone weird comes out of the AFC.
But you can't steal my picks. That's
I'm not
Just
stealing.
stealing his pick.
I'm not
Little
stealing. I'm not
He's
stealing.
stealing it.
I'm not stealing nothing.
yeah.
Dude, I would maybe Detroit Buffalo. We get a rematch. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Super Bowl.
I don't know. I don't know who's
Great
going
Lakes
where.
Bowl.
I think I'll take Detroit to win the Super Bowl though. I think that'd be cool. That'd be a good story, and it's not Kansas City, so that's who I'll say.
Yeah.
Detroit and not Kansas City.
Detroit
What a
and not
pick. What a
Kansas City, and
prediction.
Detroit beats not Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
I would
What a
love for
prediction.
not Kansas City to make the Super Bowl.
Right
That
now,
would
the
make my day.
teams I'm rooting for in the playoffs are the Eagles and then just not Kansas City.
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of where I'm at too. So
Yeah.
All right. We went a little long today. So if you stuck with us, thank you. We did have some difficulties, which we'll be we're working out the
Thanks for
kinks
staying
here.
with
We're
us
in
with
year
those
one.
technical difficulties.
Yes, Aaron, you're a trooper for waiting through that little 20-minute lull there. But
I feel like we got some good podcasting in.
we
It's a
got
lot
some
of
good
fun. I
points
enjoyed
in.
it.
Hopefully your audio wasn't too big of an issue for the first 40 minutes or so. But we'll go back and check. We're still working out the kinks here in year one. But we're hoping to have that all ready to go, and we're learning each week. So we'll
Getting
make
rid
it.
of the sophomore slump now.
We'll make it. Yeah,
as they
exactly.
say.
We're getting that out of the way. We're getting those. Is the Picks podcast QB1 situation? We're getting through that right now. John wants a quick Notre Dame preview. So I'll say they're gonna win. I don't know. They'll win. I'm taking Notre Dame. So that's all.
We
I'm
are
saying.
Penn State. I don't even care about college
The
ball. but
Nittany
we are
Lions.
Penn State.
I think
No,
the
we're taking
the
Notre
Penn
Dame.
Penn State does not know how to win the big one.
James Franklin's a
couldn't pick Penn
fraud.
State to win anything.
James
They've
Franklin's a
surprised
fraud.
me
That's
so
all I'll
far.
say.
They've done better than I thought they would. I thought they would lose every game so far this season, or so far this postseason, and I'm not going to stop here. Give me Notre Dame.
There we go. Kyle, you're going to eat your words. I'll make sure you eat those words
we'll
next
find out.
podcast. All right. Thanks again to Aaron for having us, or for having us. We actually had you, but
For joining
for
us.
joining us.
It was awesome.
Thanks
Super
again to
fun.
Aaron
Super
for
fun.
joining us. We'll
thank you
love
for
to have
having
you
me.
back again for a future show. We'll be back
Perfect.
next Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout for Sunday. We'll have exclusive content from Lincoln Financial Field. Kyle and I will be at the game, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, Packers and Eagles.
Saquon.
Go Saquon. And thanks again to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Take care.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Peace.